Hello there, a very good evening and welcome to another edition of Primetime News on TV1, coming to you live and direct from our news studios here in Colombo. I'm Charlotte Benedict for the Newsfirst team.
And I'm Naveksha Gunasekara. Here are your headlines for tonight.
The all-share price index surpasses 19,000 for the first time in history. US and Sri Lanka sign agreement to build an internationally certified laboratory. US support to detect new drug compounds. Baratheia, the elephant, passes away. Probe into irregularities in 2015-2019 housing projects.
අමාත්‍යංශ මට්ටමින් පරීක්ෂණ සිදු වෙනවා සහ සමහර ඒවා ජෙනරල් ඔඩිට් එකනොත් විගණනය වෙන්න පවතිනවා.
Will there be a change in the SJB and a new role for Dayasiri?
එහෙම පිළිබඳව කිසිම සාකච්ඡාවක් පක්ෂය තුල නිල වශයෙන් නම් වෙලා නැහැ.
නෑ සයිත් බින්දාස මැතිතුමා මට 3-4 පතාවක් කතා කරා.
Bail granted to Dr. Maheshi and former Sri Lankan Airlines chairman.
The Colombo Stock Exchange witnessed an upward trend with the all-share price index reaching a historic milestone today. For the first time in history, the ASPI surpassed the 19,000 mark, recording 19,057 points at approximately 9:43 a.m.
By the end of trading today, the all-share price index at the Colombo Stock Exchange stood at 18,946.27 points. The S&P Sri Lanka 20 index recorded a value of 5,700.54 points. Today's market turnover amounted to 9.1 billion rupees. According to data from the Colombo Stock Exchange, the total market turnover in recent months has already surpassed the entire turnover recorded last year.
Last
year's total turnover was 537.64 billion rupees. So far this year, we have already recorded 539 billion rupees. The ASPI has shown an 18% growth this year, indicating a very positive trend in the market.
Since October last year, the ASPI has shown consistent growth. Although there was a slight dip in April, the index has since resumed its upward trajectory. The S&P Sri Lanka 20 index, which includes the top 20 companies, has mirrored this positive trend. What are the key factors driving this growth in the stock market?
Since September 2024, the ASPI has climbed more than 69%, including a sharp 21% gain in just the last 3 months. Now the index is fast approaching the 20,000 mark, as in line with our projections. So now let's look at what's fueling this surge. First, interest rates have dropped sharply. With central bank easing policy rates, the returns on deposits have fallen, which has driven investors into equities. Lower rates are also boosting corporate investments and earnings. Second, the macroeconomic recovery is gaining traction. Inflation has cooled down, GDP growth is improving, and business confidence is on the rise, translating into stronger outlooks across multiple sectors. Third, external risks have eased. The Middle East conflict has de-escalated, and newly imposed tariffs came in lower than expected at 30%, instead of the 44% initially announced, which has also improved the export competitiveness of Sri Lanka. Despite the rally, valuations remain attractive. The ASPI is currently trading at a PER of 8.8 times on forward earnings, well below the long-term or the 10-year average PER of 10.7 times. With earnings expected to grow between 20 to 25%, the 20,000 level is no longer a possibility. It is shaping up to be the base case scenario.
A memorandum of understanding was signed at the Presidential Secretariat between SDE Medical of USA and the Sri Lanka Institute of Biotechnology to establish a laboratory with internationally recognized accreditation.
The MOU for this $15 million investment project, conducted under the guidance of the National Initiative for Research and Development Commercialization, was signed by Professor Hans Kiersted, founder of the American company SDE Medical, and on behalf of the Sri Lanka Institute of Biotechnology by its chairman Professor Samita Hettige and Chief Operating Officer Amali Ranasinghe. For a long time, there has been a need to enhance the capacity of laboratories with internationally recognized accreditation for testing purposes across many sectors in Sri Lanka, including health, agriculture, cosmetics and Ayurveda, as well as in the import and export fields. This laboratory is expected to function as a main lab, working in conjunction with existing laboratories across the island to ensure the quality of goods and services in various fields.
The US Department of State donated a specialized device to Sri Lanka's National Dangerous Drugs Control Board to help identify modern drug compounds. The equipment, valued at 40 million rupees, is expected to enhance the country's capabilities in drug detection and enforcement.
The Radiant Atmospheric Pressure Solids Analysis Probe drug testing equipment, generously donated by the U.S. State Department of the International Narcotics Law Enforcement Affairs. This donation of the Radiant ASAP Direct Mass Detector is the first phase of the upgrading of forensic lab capabilities project to enhance forensic infrastructures not only in Sri Lanka but also in Nepal, Bangladesh, and Maldives. The Radiant equipment will help forensic laboratories in these countries be better equipped to meet the challenges posed by synthetic drugs. With its simple and instinctive operations, Radiant ASAP allows users to generate results with minimal sample preparation, making it an ideal tool for laboratories to make informed decisions. The sensitivity and selectivity of mass spectrometry provides confidence in detecting drugs with an easy, efficient triage workflow. Aside from the streamlined workflows and fast chemical analysis, it can also be used in various industries like food assessment, environmental integrity, pharmaceutical drug formulations, among others.
The Radiant equipment we're handing over today represents a cutting-edge technology that will aid the NDDCP in the rapid detection and identification of illicit substances. This will enable law enforcement to respond more effectively to drug-related crimes, help investigations and prosecutions, and ultimately save Sri Lankan lives. This donation is one of several the United States is making across South Asia. With this equipment, Sri Lanka and other nations in the region are in a better position to combat the transnational scourge of illegal drugs, including fentanyl and others, more quickly and more effectively. This technology and training will support investigations and cases built on evidence secured through science and technology. This evidence will not only result in more convictions for wrongdoers, but will also strengthen the rule of law. Ultimately, and perhaps most importantly, this will increase public support for police and the courts across the region. Working together to help identify and combat illegal drugs strengthens communities and builds a safer, more secure future for all of us. The United States is confronting the fentanyl crisis at home and abroad because the threat knows no borders. That's why we're investing in regional partnerships like this one to stop the synthetic drugs before they take hold. Through this initiative, we're not only sharing advanced tools and training, we're reinforcing a shared commitment to public safety and regional security. This work reflects the broader U.S. efforts to disrupt global synthetic opioid supply chains and to protect communities across the Indo-Pacific region. I look forward to hearing the success stories from the use of this equipment and how the men and women who use it make a positive contribution to Sri Lanka's future.
US President Donald Trump emphasized the need for Canada and China to take stronger measures to prevent the trafficking of fentanyl into the United States. His remarks came during the imposition of reciprocal tariffs on both countries, highlighting fentanyl control as a key concern. The Trump administration had already taken multiple steps to curb the entry of fentanyl into the country. At a ceremony held in Colombo to hand over a drug compound detection device, Deputy Minister of Public Security and Parliamentary Affairs, Attorney-at-Law Sunil Vatagala, underscored the Sri Lankan government's commitment to combating drug trafficking.
No one within this political authority is involved in drug trafficking or drug use. In the past, these matters were handled by political authorities. But we have truly changed that political culture.
During the cabinet decision media briefing, a clarification was provided regarding ongoing discussions with the United States on further reducing reciprocal tariffs, which were recently lowered from 44% to 30%.
රජයක් හැටියට අපි ඇමරිකා එක්සත් ජනපදයේ වෙළඳ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව සමග
As a government, we are engaged in formal discussions with the US Department of Commerce. This is a structured process, not something that can be influenced informally or through personal connections in the Senate. While friendships and alliances are valuable in other areas, this matter requires adherence to globally recognized procedures. Our official delegation has visited the US twice for discussions, and several Zoom meetings have also taken place. Based on this engagement, we were able to secure the 30% tariff level. Following the announcement by the US President, our President and officials from the Ministry of Finance also expressed optimism about moving forward. We are now prepared to continue discussions, hoping for further economic relief. However, it's too early to specify the exact extent of future concessions. These matters are still under negotiation. Once a mutual agreement is reached, both countries will make a formal announcement. Our expectations remain high, and our officials are committed to pursuing this process.
කොතරම් ප්‍රමාණයකට අපිට තවත් ඉදිරියට යන්න පුළුවන්කම තිබුණාද කියන එක තාමත් ඒවා තිබෙන්නේ අපිට තිබෙන අපේක්ෂාවක්. ඒ අපේක්ෂාව මත පදනම් වෙලා අපේ රජයේ නිලධාරීන් අපි මෙහෙවන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
While the government moves forward with reciprocal tariff adjustments, Samagi Jana Balavegia MP Harsha Rajakaruna says that the reduced tariffs of 30% is not enough. He explained that the European Union, being a major economic power, would not be significantly affected by a 30% tariff.
The issue isn't about bringing it down to 30%. People are saying it was reduced from 44% to 30%. But that's not the real issue. The problem is the rates in countries we compete with. Even if we have 30%, it doesn't help if our competitors have lower rates. It's not just the EU. Many countries around the world are affected, but we need to consider our capacity. The EU is economically strong and not dependent on a single country. Our situation is different.
While
MP Rajakaruna voiced his concerns, the EU Trade Commissioner recently warned that tariffs of 30% or higher could have serious consequences. He noted that such tariffs could disrupt Atlantic trade valued at 4.4 billion euros per day, making it unsustainable. The EU Trade Commissioner emphasized that every day and every minute until the 1st of August would be used to seek a negotiated solution to the issue. The Workers' Front responded to the statement.
This
kind of shallow commentary is typical of the opposition. At a time when the entire world is facing similar challenges, trying to exploit the situation for political gain is like clinging to a floating reel to stay afloat. What are the actual proposals? They claim to be statesmen but offer no real solutions. Some even say if this had happened under Ranil Wickremesinghe, he would have resolved it in 24 hours by calling Elon Musk. Elon Musk and Trump aren't going to fix this. Even if Musk got involved, he would probably add another 20% to the problem. You can't solve issues like this with empty talk. What we need now is continued diplomatic engagement. The government has already stated that discussions are ongoing. That's what matters. Trying to use this moment to topple the government is nothing but political clownery. What we need is serious diplomatic negotiation to reduce tariffs, not cheap political stunts.
Cabinet spokesperson and Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa announced that investigations are underway into alleged irregularities in housing projects implemented by the National Housing Development Authority between 2015 and 2019. He made this statement while addressing the media at the Cabinet Decisions media briefing held earlier today. He said that both auditor-level inquiries and ministerial-level investigations are being conducted to examine the issue.
ජාතික නිවාස සංවර්ධනාධිකාරියේ මූල්‍යාංශය වාර්තාවක් ඉදිරිපත් කරලා තියෙනවා මේ යහපාලන සමයේ සෙවන ආදර්ශ නිවාස ගම්මාන විවෘත කිරීමේ වැඩපිළිවෙල ගැන. දැන් මේ වාර්තාවට අනුව ඇමතුමා මේ ගම්මාන 2562ක් හදන්න යෝජනා වෙලා තිබිලා තියෙනවා. නමුත් විවෘත කරලා තියෙන්නේ 367යි. මේකේ වැදගත්ම තැන තමයි මේ ප්‍රචාරක කටයුතු සඳහා මිලියන 523ක් වැය කරලා තියෙනවා. ඊට අමතරව මේ ප්‍රතිලාභීන්ට දුන්න නිවාස ව්‍යාපෘති වල ඉන්න ප්‍රතිලාභීන්ට දුන්න මිලියන 5968ක් ගෙවීම් පැහැරලා තියෙනවා. දැන් මේ වාර්තාව ඉදිරිපත් කරලා තියෙනවා. මේ වාර්තාවට මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ අමතුමාද?
නිවාස සංවර්ධන අධිකාරිය මේ ඉදිරිපත් කළ තියෙන වාර්තාව අනුව ඔබ කිව්වාගේම 2015-19 සැමට සෙවණ කියලා ආදර්ශ ගම්මාන 2562ක් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න කටයුතු කරලා තිබුණත් විවෘත කරලා තිබිලා තියෙන 367ක් විතරයි. 2562කින් 367ක් විවෘත කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒකෙන් ආදර්ශ ගම්මාන ණය ලබා දීලා තියෙන ප්‍රතිලාභීන් 25453කටයි ණය හැටියට ලබා දීලා තියෙන්නේ. ආධාර හැටියට ලබා දීලා තියෙනවා 28633කට. ඔක්කොම ප්‍රතිලාභීන් ඉන්නේ 54086ක්. මේ සඳහා ණය ලබා දීමේදී මිලියන 13000කට ආසන්න ප්‍රමාණයක් ලබා දීලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම මේ විවෘත කිරීම වෙනුවෙන් දරලාද මුළු ප්‍රචාරක වියදම තමයි ඔබ කිව්වේ මිලියන 523.6ක් ප්‍රචාරක වේදන් වෙනුවෙන් වේදන් කරලා තිබෙනවා මේ ටිකට. මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් දැන් පරීක්ෂණයක් සිදුවීමින් පවතිනවා නිවාස අමාත්‍යාංශය තුල. මේ ආකාරයේ ප්‍රචාරක ව්‍යාපෘති ගණනාවක් ඒ කාලේ සිදු කරලා තිබෙන බව දැන් කරුණු වාර්තා වෙමින් තිබෙනවා. ඒ පිළිබඳවත් අමාත්‍යාංශ මට්ටමින් පරීක්ෂණ සිදු වෙනවා සහ සමහර ඒවා ජෙනරල් ඔඩිට් එකනොත් විගණනය වෙමින් පවතිනවා.
ප්‍රතිලාභීන්ට දීලා තියෙන මේ මිලියන ගාණක් මිලියන 5000 ගාණක ණයක් අය කර ගැනීම හැකියාවක් පවතිනව නේද?
ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් මට මේ වෙලාවේ කියන්න අමාරුයි. නිවාස අමාත්‍යාංශය කවර කටයුතු කරයිද කියන එක අය කරගත යුතුයිනේ නේද? ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් නිවාස අමාත්‍යාංශය පැත්තෙන් කරුණු සොයා බලයි.
At a media briefing held today, a journalist asked MP Harsha Rajakaruna whether there were plans to appoint MP Dayasiri Jayasekara to the leadership of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya.
දයාසිරි ජයසේකර මහත්මයා උපනායකකමට පත් කරන්නේ කවද්ද?
එහෙම පිළිබඳව කිසිම සාකච්ඡාවක් පක්ෂය තුල නිල වශයෙන් නම් වෙලා නැහැ. ඔබතුමා දන්නවා නම් මනවත් දැනුවත් කරන්න. නෑ ඉතින් මම දන්නේ නැති දෙයක් නැත්නම් මට කියන්න බෑනේ.
Meanwhile, at a media briefing held today, MP Dayasiri Jayasekara stated that Sajith Premadasa had held discussions with him on several occasions.
නෑ සයිප්‍රදාස් මැදුවා මට තුන් හතර වතාවක් කතා කරා පක්ෂයත් එක්ක එකතු වෙමු කියලා. නමුත් මම මේ තීන්දුවක් තාම අරන් නැහැ. මම එක්ක වුණත් මුකුත් කතා කරලත් නෑ තාම. නිකන් අපි එකතු වෙමු කියලා කිව්වා විතරයි කියලා දෙන්න ඊට අමතරව මුකුත් කියලා.
ඒ කියන්නේ එකතු වෙමු කියන එකේ අදහස උපනායකකම වගේ ගන්න එකක් එහෙම එකක්ද?
මට ඒක කිසි බලාපොරොත්තුවක් නැහැ.
දුන්නොත් ගන්නවද?
I have no such expectations. If they offer something, we can talk. But first, let me be clear. If I am given the leadership of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party again, I am ready to take it and work. Beyond that, I haven't discussed or even considered any other options. If the time comes and leadership is offered, we'll take it from there. Until then, we'll continue with our current course of action.
සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහත්මයාගේ නායකත්වයෙන් මැතිවරණ කිහිපයක්ම පරාජයට පත් වුණානේ. ඔබතුමා විශ්වාස කරනවද එතුමාගේ නායකත්වයෙන් මේ නැවත වතාවක් මේ රටේ ආණ්ඩු බලයක් ගන්න හැකියාවක් ලැබෙවි කියලා?
ඒක ඉතින් දැන් අපිට කියන්න බෑ. මොකද
That's not something we can say right now. Decisions will have to be made as time goes on. We don't know what the situation will be like in 4 years. We have no distrust in him. He is functioning as the leader of the opposition and he's doing so because he's capable. When it comes to gaining power, we will act accordingly at that time. In the past, Ranil Wickremesinghe served as opposition leader and gave others the opportunity to contest the presidency twice. So, if we feel Sajith Premadasa is the right choice at that time, we'll move forward with him. If not, and he decides to step aside and nominate someone else, that's his decision. But for now, we are working with him as the leader of the opposition.
සමගි ජන බලවේගයේ බහුතරයක් ඇවිල්ලා කතා කරලා කිව්වොත් නෑ දයාසිරි සජිත්ට බෑ අපි ඔයත් එක්ක යන්න එන්නම් කියලා ඔබතුමා කැමතිද?
සමගි ජන බලවේගයේ නෙමෙයි මම ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ.
I'm not a member of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya. I belong to the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. So when it comes to choosing leaders within SJB, that's up to them. When we work together under the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, we can collaborate and move forward.
Newsfirst with the people.
With your name, your unique talent, your phone number. The Sri Lanka's Got Talent PO Box 100 Ratmalana or WhatsApp us on 076 599 7788.
Baratheia, the elephant who had been receiving treatment for several days due to a severe condition affecting his front leg, passed away this morning. His condition had worsened following a change in treatment approach, which was made less than 24 hours before his death.
Who was Baratheia?
Baratheia was a majestic tusker known for roaming the areas of Galgambua, Ambanpola and Nikavaratia. With his striking appearance and graceful tusks, he was admired by many. Estimated to be between 30 and 35 years old, Baratheia had long captured public attention.
What happened to Baratheia?
Baratheia suffered greatly due to multiple gunshot wounds sustained over time. He was first spotted injured in Nikavaratia's wildlife zone in February, where the Nikavaratia Wildlife Veterinary Unit began treatment. He was seen again in May, this time near the Mahava Wildlife Office, about 20 kilometers from Nikavaratia. By then, he had endured further gunshot injuries. Despite repeated treatments by the Nikavaratia veterinary team, Baratheia never fully recovered. Public concern grew when he was found trapped in water in Polpithigama in a severely weakened state. Over the following days, various treatment efforts were made. A team led by Professor Ashoka Dangolla, former Dean of the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine at the University of Baratheia, took charge of Baratheia's care.
Bain, api ya, watur ya. Wah, ada watur ni ave api. Watur bahimu Untuk puta watur bahimu. Bain puta watur dam. Hari. Oh ya bahin ni. Untuk dam bahin watur dam. Jabung gila bahin ban. Perlen. Ne. Perlen. Perlen. Hari api ni nan. Show ye nan. Bayi bende ba. Show ye nan ni. Ngi nan perlila.
After treatment, Baratheia showed slight improvement in movement. However, being in the same position for days caused immense physical stress. Veterinarians reported that Baratheia had begun eating less. His muscle tissue had deteriorated and blood circulation was severely affected, according to medical observations. In a final effort, the Sri Lanka Army, other security forces, local residents and veterinarians worked together to change Baratheia's posture yesterday. A left canal was redirected to the right, but less than 24 hours later, Baratheia passed away this morning. Wildlife officials confirmed his death at 8:55 a.m., leaving many in shock and sorrow. A post-mortem examination is scheduled to be conducted by a veterinary team from the Randhenigala Veterinary Unit. Many who loved Baratheia gathered this afternoon to hold religious rituals and bid farewell to the beloved elephant.
Minister of Public Security and Parliamentary Affairs Ananda Vijaypala stated today in Kurunegala that further investigations into the Easter Sunday attacks will be carried out based on court directives and the Attorney General's advice following the submission of findings from existing investigation reports to the judiciary.
විශේෂයෙන් මම පහුගිය දවසක පාස්කු ඉරිදා ප්‍රහාරය සම්බන්ධයෙන් පැවති විවාදයේදී ප්‍රකාශ කරා.
During a recent debate on the Easter Sunday attacks, I stated that Sivanesadure Chandrakandan, also known as Pillayan, was reportedly aware of the attack beforehand. As mentioned then, we are fully prepared to report these findings to the judiciary without delay. Once submitted, further investigations will proceed based on court directives and the Attorney General's advice. Investigations are already underway, but at this stage, it is essential to formally present the findings to the courts. These inquiries will continue, though I am unable to disclose certain details to the media at this time.
සමහර විමර්ශන සම්බන්ධයෙන් මේ අවස්ථාවේ මාධ්‍යයට ප්‍රකාශ කිරීමට හැකියාවක් නැහැ.
Case file.
Dr. Maheshi Vijayratna, a specialist neurological surgeon at the Sri Jayawardenepura Hospital, was released on bail by the Colombo Chief Magistrate Thanuja Lakmali Jayatunga. She was released on a cash bail of 50,000 rupees and 3 sureties of 5 million rupees each.
The magistrate who granted bail to the specialist doctor also prohibited her from travelling overseas and ordered her not to enter the Sri Jayawardenepura Hospital premises. When the case was called, Assistant Director Anusha Sambandha Peruma, appearing for the Bribery Commission, informed the court that investigations had revealed information about another private institution run by the suspect doctor for the sale of surgical equipment. Subsequently, President's Counsel Salia Piris, appearing for the suspect specialist doctor, made submissions to the court stating that she had been in remand custody for 29 days. Court.
Your Honour, the Bribery Commission said that some witnesses in this case have provided affidavits. At this point, the court cannot consider the accuracy of the facts contained in those affidavits. This is because the truth or falsity of their content can only be confirmed through cross-examination of witnesses in the witness box during a trial. We also know how these affidavits are presented. Witnesses are told that if they don't provide an affidavit, they will be made a suspect and remanded. That's how the Bribery Commission obtains these affidavits. The Bribery Commission claimed that my client performed surgeries on brain-dead individuals and that over 70% of the treated patients died. The Bribery Commission made such statements to gain media attention. The Bribery Commission said those things to the gallery. The Bribery Commission is doing these things to create a populist opinion and keep the suspect continuously in remand custody. Also, Your Honour, there is no public disturbance regarding this incident. What exists now is merely an artificially created social media wave. Courts cannot act based on these things.
End quote. The Bribery Commission expressed its objection against granting bail to the suspect. Quote.
It has been revealed that this suspect doctor has provided 2 addresses as a residential address, one in the Rossmead area and another along Vijayarama Mawatha. But she does not reside at either one of those addresses. An investigation conducted through the Election Commission revealed that she is a resident of Meerigama. If the suspect is an innocent person, why is she providing false information? We request that bail applications of the suspect be rejected.
End quote. Dr. Maheshi Vijayratna had been in remand custody since the 17th June for the sale of surgical instruments at inflated prices through a third party. The case is scheduled to be called again on the 28th October.
The Colombo Chief Magistrate Thanuja Lakmali Jayatunga today ordered to release on bail of Anthony Nishantha Wickramasinghe, the former chairman of Sri Lankan Airlines, who was arrested by the Bribery Commission in connection with a trio of corruption allegations. The suspect was released on a cash bail of 50,000 rupees and 2 personal sureties of 5 million rupees each. As part of the bail conditions, the magistrate imposed a foreign travel ban and ordered Wickramasinghe to surrender his passport to the court. Former Minister Duminda Disanayake, who was remanded in connection with the discovery of a gold-coloured T56 assault rifle at a housing complex in Vallavatta, was released on bail yesterday following an order by the Colombo High Court. In accordance with the bail order, he was produced before the Mount Lavinia Magistrates Court today and subsequently released. The suspect was granted bail on a cash bond of 250,000 rupees and 2 surety bonds of 5 million rupees each. His foreign travel has been prohibited and he is required to hand over his passport to the court.
Sirasa TV emerged as a major winner at the 30th Sumati Awards ceremony, securing top honours across multiple categories.
The 30th Sumati Awards took place in Colombo earlier this evening. Asoka Dias won the Sumati Award for the Best Educational Television Program this year. As the host of the morning show Pathikada, broadcast on Newsfirst, Sirasa TV, Asoka has engaged in discussing current issues with prominent experts on the subject. For the past 5 years, Pathikada has dedicated itself to intellectual dialogue and is broadcast on Newsfirst, Sirasa TV, daily on weekdays at 6 in the morning. The music program Sajjayana, produced by Sirasa TV and directed by Viraj Jayamanna, was awarded Best Music Program, recognizing its excellence in musical presentation and production. In the individual awards category, Saranga Disasekara was voted Most Popular Actor of 2024 for his performance in the television drama Alavanthi, which aired on Sirasa TV. Newsfirst's Randika Hettiarachchi won the award for Best Investigative News Report 2024 for his report titled Nodutu Sigiriya. Sirasa TV Satana program won runners-up under the Best Political Program category at the Sumati Awards 2024. Sirasa TV's multiple wins underscored its ongoing influence and commitment to quality programming in the local television industry.
The launch of the 2025 State of World Population Report titled The Real Fertility Crisis, the Pursuer of Reproductive Agency in a Changing World was held in Colombo today.
In commemoration of World Population Day organized by UNFPA Sri Lanka, the launch of the 2025 State of World Population Report titled The Real Fertility Crisis, the Pursuit of Reproductive Agency in a Changing World was held in Colombo today. World Population Day is observed annually on the 11th July to raise awareness about global population issues and their impact on sustainable development.
Today's young Sri Lankans are not the same as the young people we had 40, 50 years ago. They would desire and demand a better life. They are thinking of their careers and starting families, things we encourage them to desire. But they are facing enormous economic and societal pressures, making having children feel like an opportunity cost to them. In a consultation last week with nearly 60 young people held with the National Youth Services Council, financial constraints emerged as the single biggest obstacle to their family plans. Their worries are well-founded. The cost of living on the island has doubled since 2021. The generation values independence, creativity, and the need to innovate. So what must we change if we want our young people, if we want to support our young people to meet their family aspirations? Then we need to engineer solutions that address some of these barriers and creating a system. It might not be about fixing the number of births. We need to look at our systems to create an enabling and supportive environment for young people.
During the event, the 2025 State of World Population Report was presented to Minister Sunil Kumara Gamage, Deputy Minister Hansaka Wijayamuni and Member of Parliament Dr. Kaushalya Ariratna.
U.S. Ambassador to Sri Lanka Julie Chung visited the Pathfinder Foundation today.
The Pathfinder Foundation held a discussion with the U.S. Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Julie Chung, along with a delegation of representatives at the MMBL Pathfinder office today. The discussions focused on the long-standing cooperation between the Pathfinder Foundation, the U.S. Embassy and other U.S.-based institutions, highlighting key initiatives and collaborative efforts undertaken over the years. Joining Ambassador Chung, Deputy Chief of Mission Jane Howell and Political Officer Adam Michelov were present at the meeting. Representing the Pathfinder Foundation were founder Melinda Morogada, chairman and senior officials of the organization. Following the meeting, Ambassador Chung was taken on a courtesy inspection tour along the Kalani River.
A commemoration ceremony was held at the residence of the Turkish ambassador, marking the Democracy and National Unity Day of Turkey.
Democracy and National Unity Day of Turkey is an annual event that honors the bravery of the Turkish people who resisted a coup attempt on the night of 15th of July 2016. Semilutfu Turgut, the Turkish ambassador to Sri Lanka, hosted the event to share the story of resilience and democratic strength with the Sri Lankan community.
We are here today to mark a profoundly significant day, July 15th, Democracy and National Unity Day. This day carries immense meaning in the modern history of Turkey. We gather to reflect on a solemn chapter in the modern history of our country. A day marked by courage, sacrifice, and the unwavering defense of democratic values. It stands as a testimony to the enduring spirit of democracy and the unshakable will and the determination of the people united by constitutional values.
In a gesture that emphasized the value of youth awareness and global solidarity, the ambassador invited 45 A-level students from Hamid Al Husseini College, accompanied by their teachers and principal, to attend the event.
The Tai Chi traditional martial arts training program conducted by the Kung Fu Friends Sri Lanka China Friendship Association is set to take place this month.
The Tai Chi traditional martial arts training program organized by the Kung Fu Friends Sri Lanka China Friendship Association is scheduled to take place from the 16th to the 22nd of July. The Kung Fu Friends Sri Lanka China Friendship Association visited the Department Broadcasting Centre today.
Today we are very happy to be here to visit the TV and radio station. We learn a lot about the history, the radio and TV station, the history and the culture in here. We think that the TV station and the radio station is a good plant to spread different culture and different civilization. So our team from China, we can practice Tai Chi here and also show our civilization and the Tai Chi culture.
The Kung Fu Friends Sri Lanka China Friendship Association was built in order to prosper the coming generation. We really hope to build a good society with education, spirituality and physical ability. We want to develop the Kung Fu fighting sport in Sri Lanka and develop the strength of the people. We plan to build a society free from diseases.
Tai Chi, a traditional martial art that originated in ancient China, was recognized in 2020 by UNESCO as part of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Today, it is practiced worldwide for its numerous health benefits, including improved balance, stress reduction, and its role in preventing non-communicable diseases.
And in news from overseas, President Donald Trump suggested there would be very severe tariffs of 100% on Russia if there was no deal within 50 days, as he held a briefing with NATO's Mark Rutte in Washington, D.C. on Monday. The White House later clarified that the 100% would apply to Russia and that secondary tariffs meant sanctions on countries buying oil from Moscow.
US President Donald Trump on Monday threatened to impose secondary tariffs on Russia's trade partners at about 100% if President Vladimir Putin does not agree to a deal to end his invasion of Ukraine in 50 days.
And one of the reasons that you're here today is to hear that we are very unhappy, I am, with Russia. But we'll discuss that maybe a different day. But we're very, very unhappy with them, and we're going to be doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. Tariffs at about 100%. You'd call them secondary tariffs. You know what that means. But today we're going to talk about something else. And as you know, we've spent $350 billion approximately on this war with Russia and Ukraine. And would like to see it end. It wasn't my war, it was Biden's war. It's not my war. I'm trying to get you out of it. And we want to see it end. And I'm disappointed in President Putin because I thought we would have had a deal 2 months ago, but it doesn't seem to get there. So based on that, we're going to be doing secondary tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. It's very simple. And they'll be at 100%. And that's the way it is. That can be more simple. It's just the way it is. I hope we don't have to do it.
President Donald Trump described Vladimir Putin as a tough guy, and they had very pleasant phone calls as he held a briefing with NATO's Mark Rutte in Washington, D.C. on Monday.
How did you tell Putin this was happening?
I speak to him a lot about getting this thing done. And I always hang up and say, well, that was a nice phone call. And then missiles are launched into Kiev or some other city. And I said, it's strange. And after that happens 3 or 4 times, you say, the talk doesn't mean anything. My conversations with him are always very pleasant. I say, isn't that a very lovely conversation? And then the missiles go off that night. I go home, I tell the First Lady, I spoke to Vladimir today. We had a wonderful conversation. She said, oh, really? Another city was just hit. So it's like, look, he's, I don't want to say he's an assassin, but he's a tough guy. It's been proven over the years. He's fooled a lot of people. He fooled Bush. He fooled a lot of people. He fooled Clinton, Bush, Obama, Biden. He didn't fool me. But what I do say is that at a certain point, ultimately talk doesn't talk. It's got to be action. It's got to be results. And I hope he does it. It's potentially such a great country to be wasting so many people on this and the money. And look at what's happened to his economy. Look at what's happened.
Trump's secondary tariffs would impose levies on the countries and entities that buy Russia's exports. They could take an especially heavy toll on countries that rely on Russian fossil fuels as part of the energy plan, like China, India, Brazil and Turkey. It's also not the first time that Trump has issued such a warning against an adversary. Trump in March said that countries that buy oil and gas from Venezuela will face a 25% levy, and in May he threatened to impose similar levies on countries that import Iranian oil.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight.
Thank you for watching.
Good night.